you so much for joining me. I am Tamara Jean, your soul architect and wellness astrologer here on High Vibe TV. And it is Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. And I'm here to talk about the energetic landscape that we have impacting us over these next few days as the moon is continuing to wane and we are building up the energy towards our next eclipse and second Virgo new moon, right, with a partial solar eclipse. And of course, then we have the equinox right after that. So we are at a very powerful threshold. This is Starway Healing channel on YouTube. It is supposed to be like the waning moon, and it's charged or embedded with 417 hertz solfeggio frequency. So that is the frequency of change. It helps to facilitate change. It's also the frequency of undoing. And so this helps to release negative patterns, and it's I'll say clear trauma for the sake of, we're always talking about how, clearing energy, when what we really need to do is rewrite the code. And so this particular frequency, especially as that moon is still waning and we got hit with such powerful energy with that Pisces full moon eclipse, really just opening, a huge tear into the shadow, and illuminating all of it. And so we have a lot we are being faced with. I'm seeing a lot of deeper, like strong reactions to deeply embedded wounds, or like the programming around the wound that is into the deeper layers of the subconscious. This is what the Pisces eclipse kind of ripped into or tore into. So if you are experiencing some like frustration with a long time like trigger for you or wound, that is all, it's getting brought up from the deeper layers so you can rewrite the code, reframe. And in of course, the energetic landscape between like human design and the astrological layers all assist in this process. And so we've got the sun in gate 6 in the human design context, a gate of conflict, and then the earth grounding the energy in gate 36 of crisis. So I know we hear those two words and it's just like, oh my gosh, our nervous systems, right? I could like all of this with the nervous system, and a lot to do with how the sun and Mercury and the South Node have all been hanging out together in Virgo, and just it's all of this information, right? Virgo is very much about the information and it coming up. Of course, Uranus is, doing his thing, and retrograde in Gemini. So there's just all of this massive energy and disruption that's taking place, especially within our mental field and the mental layer of our aura or subtle energy bodies, to get to the root or the code, to be able to rewrite and reframe all of this for ourselves, kind of like at the just like we could use words of getting like the root of all evil, and we can just say, the shadow. It is the root. We're getting to the root of the shadow that has created these distorted overlays over our codes, right? Blueprints, and that all the patterns that have been built upon and grown from there. And so these energies are giving us an opportunity, especially with the sun in gate 6 and the earth in gate 36, presenting these challenges of how we can grow through this. into especially a new emotional awareness. And then we have Chiron, that is retrograde in Aries, is in gate 42, and we have Jupiter in gate 53, and this is activating the channel of cycles for completion, but only for, so there's that new beginnings. And then, though, on the 18th, we have some major shifts happening, right? So today is the 16th. So in a couple of days, we're going to have Jupiter's going to move into gate 62 of expressed details, and Mars, that is now finishing in gate 32, which there can be that fear of failure, but we also have the drive to create change, right? So I feel like that drive is overriding the fear. Like the drive is greater than the fear, even though we do have Mars opposing Chiron, right? It's giving us an opportunity to overcome those fears that have held us back in doing certain things, right? The things that scare you, taking those leaps of faith, those big steps. And this is what I've been saying and telling people for a while, that to follow through on taking the action steps that your soul is leading you to do, to take and guiding you. And the energy is going to meet you with you taking that action, whether it is that next opportunity, the resources for something, whatever it is, with you, then you're in your power in making those choices, right? Because we have a lot right now versus with Sun in gate 6 of opportunity to respond like consciously rather than react. And so, and we've got, of course, the Sun is sextiling the Moon right now, and Moon being in Cancer. I'm just seeing how it's giving us that opportunity, right? We don't want to make our decisions based on the past. We do want to make them based like through the heart and the soul. And then the energy is going to meet you there, whatever, is needed. Like you are magnetizing that. You have to make that very clear decision and take the action step. So the big shifts that we're going to be experiencing in a couple of days is Jupiter, like I said, is going to be moving into gate 62. And while that's happening, Saturn, that is retrograde in Pisces, that's been hanging out with Neptune for a long time, both in gate 25 in the self center, right, in that gate of divine love and innocence and contributing to that returning to self. Well, Saturn is now going to be leaving gate 25 and is going to move into gate 36, where the Earth currently is, that gate of crisis. But it's going to be like offering the wisdom of how we grow through it. I like keep hearing, like when I'm tuning into the energies, a couple of things. One is like, here we grow, right? To grow through what you go through. And then another song, as I know so many of you also get messages through songs, really relate to that in the music. And it's interesting, I'm having like all of these like really old songs coming through that these days, I mean, my energy's gotten very sensitive as I'm going through my own recalibration process, right? And the only thing, this has actually been happening for quite some time, a long time. The only thing I listen to these days is like frequencies. Because I can listen to other music, but really only for so long. If it's not, there's there's a DJ that does, he calls it Healing House. What's his name? Lincoln. I can't think of his last name at the moment. So he does like, just like David. So David doing his spiritual dance music with, 432 hertz. Lincoln also does his through, and he'll choose different frequencies, whether it's 432 or 528, right? So that you're actually getting the healing frequencies with the music, because we all know that a lot of music has gotten distorted frequency wise. So anyway, where was I? Oh, so this lyrics, a few lines, and it's an old Elton John song called Daniel. And the words that keep playing through are, Daniel, my brother, you are older than me. Do you still feel the pain of the scars that won't heal? Your eyes have died, but you see more than I. Daniel, you're a star in the face of the sky. And it's about these two brothers, and one gets drafted, is getting called over to fight in Vietnam. Parents tell the younger brother that the older brother is going off traveling to Spain, but then, right, he comes back, and obviously he's changed, right? He is blind, but not physically blind, and other wounds, obviously. And but being able to, where you do just really see things for as they are. And I feel that message like coming through, right? Even though there may be these past hurts and these old wounds, and may still feel the pain, the emotional pain or mental pain. Right? We have a lot of these circuits are closing with those patterns. And so really use this 417 hertz, especially as the moon is waning and we are emptying out. And, is so much that still with Virgo and closing out Virgo season, really assisting the mental body and your physical body and health in the release, in your nervous system, really just like kind of soothing everything, like emptying it out. And we have to do this at the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual level, right? All the layers. And as these big shifts happen with Jupiter and Saturn, right, going to be assisting this really growth period that we're in, and Mars, that is finishing in gate 32, is going to be moving tomorrow on the 17th into gate 8 of contribution. So, right, this is where we're going from survival based into creative expression, right? And what is my unique contribution here? And this is where we can receive this information and take a deeper look of like what is showing up. And it could even be just your perspective, right? And sharing that could be helping somebody else. And we do have Venus in trine with Chiron, so it's kind of softening the energy, right, with love and compassion, and making a sextile to Mars. So it's helping, there is giving some kind of softness to what could be those rough or pokey edges, and bringing some harmonization as we grow through this process. And emotions are still amplified with this moon in Cancer, right? It's been conjunct with Jupiter and it's squaring Mars and Chiron. So there's still opportunity here to grow through that, nurture and allow the wisdom to come through. But there's also contributing energy for like discernment and boundaries and your capacity to hold truth over illusion. So I know that's like a lot, it just at such a powerful threshold, right? And it's, I mean, Saturn's going to hang out in gate 36. This is going to be lingering energy through until January. So it's going to, and just like layer by layer, right? As these, and you could take away of, there is that saying of like, your mess is your message. And where you heal from your own wounds, right? And then you can turn around and teach or help someone else that's going through something very similar to you. So, and that's a very meaningful contribution to the whole, right? Because it's not about proving. We're done with that cycle of trying to earn and prove your worth, your value, right? It's expressing the unique light that you carry. So as we move through these next few days, we've got Saturn and Jupiter making some big moves. In the field intensifies, remember that these are alignments of wisdom. It's all to like draw it out of you, because right, as we continue to experience disruptions that in the field, and it is going to, right, how you respond will show you where you are at in the simplest of situations. So whether it's in traffic or, you know, I loved this little story that I had seen. Like a monk asked this man, so you're walking with your cup of coffee and you get bumped and you spill, and I think the monk asked, like, what did you spill? And or why did you spill? Something to that effect. And you know, the guy was just answering, well, I had the cup of coffee because I was bumped. And the monk was just like, all you spilled was coffee. So whatever your cup is full with and you get knocked around, that's what you're going to spill over. So whether it's grief, right, or if you had water in your cup. I mean, these are just different kind of little things to think about. I'll have to rewatch that reel because it was, you know, so simple. And that is going to be also something I feel that will be very, very helpful, as you know, right? Keeping things super simple. Keep it super simple. And as things come up, to pause and rather than react, and choosing how we respond is just going to be very, just because we're at a threshold in a pivotal moment, emptying out while building up to another powerful, pivotal, energetic moment with the Virgo new moon and partial solar eclipse, and then the equinox right after that. Right, and then going into Libra season, so which the sun and earth will move right before that, before the equinox. I mean, well, yes, before the equinox, but also before the new moon solar eclipse, it will change. But I'll go into that later in the week, right before. So, you know, talk about a powerful eclipse season, huh? and equinox, but it's to restore your truth. That's what it comes down to. And so that's with all of these layers that are presenting themselves, right? All the distortion. I mean, we're seeing it clearly in the collective, and right, it's like a magnifying glass, right? I mean, you could just see it all. And that's happening, right, on an individual level. Let's see what cards. So it's definitely, I know that there's some really powerful transits coming up that are harsh, especially after Mars moves into Scorpio. So we'll need wintergreen. Wintergreen is the oil of trust. And let's see what it says on here. I take my hands off the wheel. You are not alone. The universe is working with you. Relax and enjoy the adventure. Well, it definitely is an adventure. Obviously, it's not all fun and games and shiny rainbows and happy moments, especially as of late. And, it seems to be quite the roller coaster with emotions and how we feel. And then we've got, I know you guys have been, I did post it in the community on High Vibe, as well as on my social media, with the heart shape of the coronal hole, right? It looked totally like a heart, and like the next day it was like even more defined. In the global coherence, like consciousness, collective consciousness coherence project, and the Schumann, right? That's all been very potent as well, which is continuing to recalibrate our system with the upgrading of the Earth's grid. So, and our DNA coding and all of that is getting activated with these frequencies, these energies, these spikes. Now it does influence, again, the nervous system, your cortisol levels, everything's a bit wonky. And we're going to be going into Libra season, right? All about balance, and that rules the hormones. And you think about, right, the organs and systems that balance things. So you're going to want to maybe give a little extra support to for those systems, and like your kidneys, your hormones, taking some extra care for yourself, and trying to maintain that balance as we go through in the upcoming weeks. So that wintergreen helping to really surrender to the guidance of your soul and your connection to original source. This is going to be the most important thing that you do, and the key in moving forward in alignment and fully trusting that guidance that you feel deep in your heart center, and trusting that if you listen and you follow that, right, soul-led, heart-led, you are provided for. Bergamo. So Bergamo, that's with the self, and with loving the self. Your tender heart is in need of care. Know that your body is here to help you experience a miraculous life. Embrace it. Right? And this is with expansion. So we've got trust and expansion. And so as you continue to transmute these layers of distortion, and you are getting deeper. It may be happening a lot in your sleep. If you're having really weird dreams, if you're not sleeping, or even if you are sleeping and you may be feeling very fatigued, it is because you are rewriting in your subconscious. And it does take a lot in the physical body, and because you're rewriting code, right, let's say energetically, and that does translate right into the physical with your DNA and then your cells, and right, and every layer and system moving up from that, it's all getting rewritten. That's going to reflect what your true blueprint and codes are, right? And that's what we are working towards right now. That's what my work is, working with people, and that's why I work one-to-one. And it's been my primary focus for a long time. So I don't do readings anymore. I took those down off my website a little while ago, and just work in my mentorships, because it's so important right now in doing this work for you to be able to move through the world, your own world, in a powerful way as who you truly are. So you can, it's not only in creating and living in joy and experiencing your divine self in your own life, then how you contribute to the whole in doing so. Release the dark wound, let love live. I love that. How appropriate. Oh my gosh, and look, it's like, hello, Pisces. Here's the eclipse, right? That's where we have been and are, and then we're going beyond normal. Well, isn't that true? Very much so. Moving beyond Spain, because we got time, the clock at her third eye, right? The key here at her lips, that golden light bulb, and then all of the different kinds of buttons that are in her, you know, the crown and the field. And it is about like going beyond, right? In where you create is beyond linear time, the linear time construct, right? When you are creating out here in your higher consciousness, because that's where it will begin, and right then it begins to work its way down through the realms or the layers, the dimensions, into the mind, and needing to out in the field, right? That is where you are creating in the now. And so you have to pay attention to what you are saying, as your words have power, especially the more in alignment that you become, and the more anchored in yourself and soul, your power really becomes online. And then so what you speak, right, is even more powerful. Softly, softly, the tender touch. And as I say that, right, see all the light that's coming out of her mouth, the light at, right, her crown being open, her third eye is lit up, and very, very feminine. And I'm totally getting like the Venus vibe from this card, and how Venus, you know, with her sextile to Mars and trining Chiron, really helping in paying attention to even just self-talk, right, and what you're saying, And then how expressing to others, like when we're communicating, all of that, right, is all of those patterns, especially because gate 8 is in the throat, right, where Mars is going to be moving. So as we speak, unto others and to ourselves, paying attention to what we are saying is getting expressed in a powerful way, and we want to continue right through the compassion vibration. So that's it for now, that's all. And so I would listen to the 417 hertz to help in the continuation of the emptying out and the change and rewriting process. And then I would also add in 963 hertz in connecting with source, with higher self, with your soul. So helping in that connection. And I'll see you back here before the next new moon, eclipse, and equinox.